nothing that I wouldn't do.
when you pulled the rug. I was
Good morning. We're going to get started in just a few moments. Before we do, though, if I could ask everyone just to check their cell phones and make sure they're set to silent or off. Good. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today to celebrate the life of Iranian Bora. We gather today in the Great Hall at St. Thomas University, which is located on the traditional unceded territory of the Wolastoqey and Mi'kmaq peoples. We come together both here in person and with the Bora family and friends virtually from India and around the world to grieve the passing of Iranian, or Ari, as he was affectionately known. While this is a somber occasion, we also celebrate a life that was full of love and adventure, and the blessing we were all granted in knowing him. St. Thomas University was a home away from home for Iranian. Upon his arrival from India, he quickly became a well-known and beloved member of the St. Thomas and Fredericton community. We will hear today how Iranian connected with staff, students, and faculty, and shared his many, many talents with all of those around him. President and Vice Chancellor Don Russell.
Welcome all, and thank you for being with us today. St. Thomas University is in mourning. Our campus and the wider community are not the same as they were just 10 days ago. A shadow has been cast over us, the shadow of the loss of a valued member of our community, Iranian Bora, a student, classmate, and friend. Professors and students who knew Iranian certainly feel his absence, but even those of us who did not know him quite as well understand that our community has lost a very unique individual, a blithe spirit, a student, an athlete, an artist, a musician, and a magician. Iranian was a member of the class of 2021. And ever since the terrible news last week, friends have been gathering in person and online to share memories of him. There have been tears, but also laughter and joy as we remember him, a young man who lived life to the fullest. In that sense, the memories are bittersweet. I hope today we will be able to add to the celebration of Ari's life, reliving the things that were important to him and the values he lived by, and sharing the positive impact that he had on us. As a parent, I can only imagine how difficult these past few days have been for the Bora family. Mr. and Mrs. Bora, I trust that even from many thousands of kilometers away, you can see and feel the impact that Ari has left on his professors and his friends and on our community as a whole. Iranian loves St. Thomas and the people here. When we asked him to help us recruit international students, he jumped at the opportunity, declaring, "The campus is magical, the people are amazing, and the professors are helpful. Life seems so much more beautiful," he said, "when I can see and talk to the people on campus." But Iranian himself, and all of you will know this, was a valued part of that beauty and that magic. He was coming into his own here. He was unfailingly polite, respectful, and friendly. He loved India and had developed an affection for Canada and Fredericton. He was as eager to learn about us as he was to share his thoughts on his home and native land. His professors say that he was enthusiastic about learning politics and international relations. He wanted to know how to interpret historical and political events so that that could help him make better sense of the contemporary world. He was also in the process of learning how to evaluate his own opinions and ideas more critically and thoughtfully. Ari was someone who tried his best to see the positive things in the world, and his presence was felt in the classroom and on campus because he was open and giving. And these were gifts he gave to others. His genuine and enthusiastic style invariably encouraged other students to voice their own thoughts. A new professor at St. Thomas had Ari as a student, and she said that more than once she was relieved when he broke the ice in class with a frank and heartfelt comment that led other students to raise their hands and continue the conversation. Again, more gifts that he gave to others. We know that Iranian was excited for the new semester and ready to take on his final year here at St. Thomas. He was ready to bring his friendly, exuberant energy back to campus and to the Fredericton community. Mr. and Mrs. Bora, please know that your son was loved, respected, and cherished by his classmates, and he deserves to graduate with them. At our spring convocation in May 2021, we will be conferring a Bachelor of Arts degree on Iranian. This is an important milestone that Ari earned, and it will be a celebration of his achievement. He will forever be an alumnus of St. Thomas University. You can see from the gathering today the mark that Iranian has left on his friends, teachers, and the St. Thomas community. Mr. and Mrs. Bora, from the Stu family to yours, we will be sending you the many heartfelt cards, letters, and notes celebrating your son and his time with us. And we will also send you the St. Thomas University flag that has been flying at half-mast on our campus for this past week. Please know that our thoughts and prayers are for Iranian and for you, and for all his friends who grieve for him here. It was our pleasure to have Ari as a Stu student, and we are all deeply saddened that he is no longer with us.
First time I met Araniam, I just come back from India. I was unpacking my bags and walking down the hallways of Holy Cross when I saw this dude just staring at me. He said to me, "You look Indian." I said, "Well, that's because I am Indian." Then I asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm going to the gym." I asked him, "You go to the gym?" He pulled out his huge arm, flexed, and said, "Yeah, I go to the gym." Since then, we were inseparable. Araniam, I'm going to miss you very, very much. You were like a brother to me. Rest in peace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found.
I'll now invite Kervin and Marcel to the stage, please.
Test. One, two. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see, no, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand, brother, stand by me. Oh, brother, brother, stand by me. Won't you? Oh, brother, stand by me. Brother, stand by me. If the sky that we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountains should crumble to the sea, I won't cry, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. Oh, brother, brother, stand by me, won't you? Oh, brother, stand by me, brother, stand by me. And we know that you were gone way too soon, but just so you see, you will always live in our heart. And when we look at the memories that we share, I can only see a smile and laughter. Oh, brother, it's been a long day without you. You were a dancer, a singer, but above all, you were a friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Kervin and Marcel, for that beautiful song. We also thank Ale and Sedona and all of Ernium's close friends for creating that beautiful video on behalf of the St. Thomas University International Student Association. I now invite some of Ernium's closest friends to offer remembrance. Millie Squires, Wilson Kennedy Mills, Simon Wassoff, Carrie Monteith Levesque on behalf of Hannah John, Ben Roy, and Cyan Chatterjee to offer condolences.
Hi everyone, my name's Millie Squires. For anyone that doesn't know me, I was Aranium's girlfriend. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for coming here and being part of, celebrating who he was and the person that he was. To Pronadi, Utpal, and Bonasmita, watching, I just wanted to say that I loved your son very much. And I feel like I had a family in you guys from the way that he talked about you. Okay. First time that I'd ever heard of Ari was when he messaged me on Facebook. Because I know it's so out of character that he would message a pretty girl on social media. His first words ever to me were, "Hey, beautiful," followed by a gif of Joey from Friends saying, "How you doing?" My first thought was, okay, it's just another strange dude trying to hit me up. As I rolled my eyes and pretended to cheerily type, "Hey," I didn't realize that this strange guy would actually mean a lot to me. We conversed back and forth, and Ari told me that he wanted to take me on a date. I told him, "Listen, Ari, Raj in Bangladesh promised me $1 million if I could send him a couple thousand to access his banking account, so you're gonna have to do better than that." But you know what? I wouldn't trade $100 million for the time I had with this man. We began talking almost on the daily. He soon took up most of my days with learning new things about each other. I've never felt more lame than I did when Ari started to tell me about his life. The conversation, in short, went like this. Me, so tell me about yourself. Ari, well, I'm from India, where I was in a gang and stabbed and stuff. My name is Ari, full name's Aranyam, which means king of the forest in my native language, Assamese. I actually know a total of 11 languages. It's king of the forest because I've had pet tigers and stuff, and I actually saw tigers when I went to China for a big martial arts tournament. I met cool people there, showed them my magic because I'm really good at magic. Then I moved halfway across the world on a scholarship that I kept because I'm super smart. I have a motorcycle, and I paint, and I do woodworks, and I'm super duper shredded and do competitive bodybuilding. What about you? Well, I'm from Macadam, I make below average grades, and I can make good cookies. But y'all, the super cool, Bruce Lee, kick-ass, I've done more in 22 years of life than someone who is 80 has dude came into my life, made me feel incredibly insignificant by telling me all the cool, super cool stuff he's done and all the places he's gone. I tell the guy I can make cookies, and I swear to you, I have never had anyone hype me up more in my life. You can make cookies, oh my God, that's awesome. I bet they're the best cookies ever. I bet you can make chocolate chip and peanut butter, and I bet you even make cinnamon raisin cookies taste good. But that's just who he was, If you knew him, then you knew that. He always was hyping others up and make them feel good about themselves. Not a day went by where he didn't tell me I was beautiful or show me off to his friends. Not one day. Before we had even met in person, I was experiencing some bad stomach pains at work. I'm a server, so that makes it hard for me to do my job. The next thing I know, I see this guy holding a motorcycle helmet in one hand and a bag of cookies in the other hand, saying, "I heard chocolate helps." Ari loved life. He loved everything he did, painting, woodworking, martial arts, magic, bodybuilding, not to mention bartending. He had an incredible presence at Chrome. He would flip bottles and make people swoon at how cool he was. I would go visit him all the time at work, and people would just come swarm him. He had everyone go there just for him. I remember one time I'd gotten a new dress, and I was really excited to wear it. So I walked into Chrome one Saturday night, and I was wearing it, and as soon as he saw me, he dropped absolutely everything. He was making drinks for like 13 people, and ran over to me and gave me a big kiss and hug and told me how beautiful I looked. That night, he made me fancy drinks without me even asking, and would get the servers to bring them with cute notes and such. I've never felt more special in my entire life. That night, he offered to drive me home in my car, which was a usual occurrence, so I wouldn't have to pay for a cab, because he was a gentleman. That night, I had my best friend with me, so we all decided to cruise around for a little bit. All my Gen Zers know how it gets when you're hyped up and you're listening to cool music and car driving around at night, you get a little crazy. So Ari was about to make a left turn when the light turned yellow. He was in my car, by the way. I said, "Ari, you're not gonna make it, don't even try it." This guy looks at me in his cute little Indian accent that he has and says, "Shh, woman, I got it." I said, "Ari, no." And he looks at me and he says, "Committed." The light turns red. He goes through anyways. I was so mad, put my head in my hands like this, and then I hear, "Uh-oh." I'm like, oh no. I look up and I see the lights flashing behind us. I looked over at him, and he said, to this day, that's the scariest look anyone has ever given him. I smacked his arm and gave him a good talking to for a solid 5 minutes. And he said, look, we're going to look back at this and laugh one day. In the moment, I got him another smack. But no, now, he's right, we did. I never let him drive my car again. He always had such a big personality. He was the textbook definition of an extrovert. He was always yelling, always dancing around. He was being goofy, trying to make friends with others. We often went to the Princess Margaret Bridge and would sit underneath of it. That was kind of, our spot. And all these boaters would be passing by, and he would be yelling at them, going, hey man, come over here, and waving towards them. And me being a shy introvert, that was my worst nightmare. But for him, it was just another average day. He was having the time of his life. We'd go to Michael's because he would paint, I painted, and I knit, so I'd go get yarn. Well, like a mother who lost her son in the grocery store, he'd walk off and I'd have to go find him. And when I'd find him, he'd be chatting up all the 80-year-old ladies, telling them how he liked their shoes or asking them about painting and all the brushes and stuff like that. But there wasn't a single person that didn't adore him who came in contact with him. And Ari, as I'm sure everyone knows, had a very big appetite. The first time we went to McDonald's together, I was craving an ice cream sundae. So I was at the window, I placed my order, and I said, hey, do you want anything? This boy, I swear to God, sticks his head out the window and says, yeah, can I have a double quarter pounder cheeseburger with a large fry? Make sure there's ketchup in the bag. He was very passionate about his ketchup. You know what, throw a junior chicken in too, and I'll grab a large Sprite. I never took him to McDonald's again. Ari lived his life laughing in the face of danger. He rode his bike every day, and he was reckless as all hell on it. A few times he called me up saying, Millie, I crashed my bike again, to where I would race over there, heart pounding out of my chest, and walk into him laughing with a concussion and scraped knees going, look, cool scars to add to my collection. He gave me the most beautiful date I've ever been on. This boy was sucking up big time. I told him I had never really been on a date before, so he makes me a super delicious Indian dish with my favorite Indian dessert, gulab jamun, and made me homemade sangria and strung up lights and put candles in his room and put my favorite movie on. And he treated me like an absolute queen, and I have never, ever felt more special in my life. We had big plans for next summer. He was going to teach me how to ride a motorcycle, and I was going to get a motorcycle of my own. Either that, or he said if he was thinking about getting a new one, and he'd just give me his old one, and we were going to go on adventures together. But, maybe it's for the best that we're not doing that, because I think I probably would have had a heart attack watching him either fall, or I would have died trying to keep up with him, because he was fast. He liked speed a lot. He was impossible to drive anywhere with, even in a car. He had the worst road rage ever. I think he had worse road rage when it wasn't him driving. Whenever someone was driving reckless or cut me off, he would roll my window down and proceed to stick his head out the window and to give people the finger. I had to put the child locks on my windows and lock him up like a dog who couldn't behave, so instead he'd swear from inside the car. And speaking of swearing, I love swearing. I do. Being in customer service, I can't exactly do it on a daily basis. So, where I work, we have skip the dishes, so we have a lot of skip the dishes drivers that come, and a few of them I have kind of made some enemies with because they can get impatient and stuff like that, and I'd complain to them about Ari a lot. And anyways, I was talking with a few of them understand Hindi, so he says, he loves swearing too. He looks at me and says, and I'm sorry to anyone who understands Hindi, just look at them and say, Kuti sala benchod. I'm not going to publicly say what that means, but it proved very effective the next time one of them got lippy with me. I wanted to learn Hindi so bad. He tried teaching me, but the only thing I knew how to say were those swear words and "Mujhe aapki yaad aati hai," which means I miss you. I would say it to him every day. It was like our secret saying. I would write him little notes in his notebook in Hindi, and he would read them out for me and understand what I was saying. And I started to learn a little bit, which was pretty cool. There aren't any words to describe the joy and the light that Ari brought to the world. You know, how do you fit 22 years of memories of happiness and laughs into something as tiny as a word? How do you fit someone's story, each mark and scar they have, every person they've touched or inspired or changed in some way, into something as insignificant as a word? You know, Ari was my person. I didn't know him as long as other people have, but I felt our souls intertwined since the day we met. I feel as though everyone has someone for them in the world, and I felt as though he was my someone. We fit together like awkward little puzzle pieces. And in times like this, we can feel guilty for smiling or laughing or feeling a sense of happiness. We feel guilty because someone like Ari isn't here smiling with us or laughing with us or making us laugh. But I know he's up there, and I know he's here right now with us, cheering us on just like he did in life. He wants us to smile, and he wants us to celebrate him, but also celebrate our own lives and ask ourselves how we can live it to the fullest. Because although Ari's time was cut so short, he has done more in 22 years of life than most people have ever done. He's lived such a full life. Ari, when I join you one day, I can't wait to give you the biggest hug after I bonk you across the head and tell you that this is precisely why you're supposed to listen to your woman. One of the first things he told me was that his father, Utpal, always told him to listen to his woman. And Utpal, you were absolutely right. I've never felt a greater pain than the loss of my sweet Ari. I feel like a piece of my soul was ripped out, and I feel empty. But then I think about how lucky I am to have known someone who meant so much to me and who occupied such a large part of my soul. And I know that he has affected so many people. His laughter, his inspiration, his motivation, his joy, his energy has touched the lives of so many people. And a piece of him lives in all of us. And although his body is gone, he will never really die because he will live on through us every day, and that is the real magic. Hug your loved ones a little tighter. Tell them you love them every day, every hour, to the point where it gets annoying. And please, for the love of God, be careful in everything you do. Don't make your loved ones reach for your sweater when they want to hug you, or grab your framed picture when they want to see or kiss you. Mujiap kiadati he aranyam, mentums piar karatun. I'll see you soon, and you better be wearing earplugs when I do.
There are many ways to remember a friend. For example, through stories, through their achievements, although I feel it is best to remember Aranyam through the impact that he had on others. He's someone that didn't need to tell you he was there for you because he would always be there, right when you needed it. One thing I will treasure about his memory is his will to adventure through life. He wasn't scared of living, and in fact, if you hadn't spoken to him for 2 weeks, you'd probably miss a major life update. There are holes in all of our hearts right now, and I strongly encourage each one of us to spread kindness and love and laughter to those close to you and those who may need it most. Aranyam could best be described as a force of kindness. What I ask of all of us here today, in memory of our dear friend, is to spread a bit more love, kindness, and care at any given opportunity. Let's embrace Aranyam's spirit and bring it forth alongside us. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and I'd like to thank you for coming out today. My name is Wilson Candy Mills, and for those of you who don't know, I was Aranyam's roommate from September of 2019 to August of 2020. And through those 11 months of living with Aranyam, I saw a lot of crazy stuff and a lot of wild moments and a lot of character development and growth from Aranyam. And I think one of the stories I'd like to start with is in my second year, Aranyam, we all know, was a gym buddy. He was at the gym and he was wearing this hat and it said The Animal on it. And I said, The Animal? I said, that can be your nickname. I said, we can call you that. And he kind of looked at me and I thought he had maybe been offended and he'd taken it the wrong way. I was about to say, no, that's a compliment, but he stopped me. He said, no, he said, I like it. And that was our nickname between him and I, was The Animal. So Speaking of animals, I can't tell you how many crazy, wild moments we had in our apartment, and he was always up and doing something. And I came to him one time, I said, Irenium, I said, I don't know how you do it. I said, I've seen you wake up at 3 a.m. and go to the gym. I've seen you pull all-nighters and do a 3-hour workout at the gym. I said, how do you do it? And he said, Wilson, he said, when I was young, my father looked at me and he said, you can live 50 years a lion or 100 years a lamb. Now, Irenium wasn't 50, but later when we were talking to Irenium's landlord and we were cleaning out his apartment, the landlord said, that man, even though I had known him for a month, I could tell he had done more in his 22 years than I had done in my 68. He had accomplished lots of things and he was full of potential and still lots more to go. But it just makes me wonder, I guess, the animal and the 50 years a lion. And I guess one more thing I'd like to say is people after his death, they would come to me and they said, I don't understand. He had so much potential and so much life, and I don't understand why he, out of all people, why did he have to go so early when you have people living into their 80s and 90s? And I said, well, when you look in a flower garden, what flowers do you pick the most? The nicest ones. That's the ones that are first to go, the ones that have received their full growth. And maybe that was Irenium. Now, another thing when living with Irenium was we could talk about anything, and the two things we talked about most were politics and religion, which were the two things I was always told never talk about at the table, but that was something him and I always talked about and never stopped talking about. And we never disagreed, and if we did, we were very mature and got by it, and he always knew what to say, and it was never a dull conversation, and it always was interesting. So I'd just like to close with Irenium. Wherever you are, if you're looking down on us, I just want the people around you now to hear the animal roar, because what I wouldn't give to hear the animal roar one last time. Thank you.
Hi. I didn't really write anything today. When I heard of his passing, so Cyan told me, and I thought Cyan plays around with me a lot. He makes jokes and stuff to get my reaction. It's like, it's his thing. So when he told me, I was like, stop messing with me, you're not funny. And then when it actually hit me, I didn't know what to feel. I met Irenium 3 years ago, the first day of school, orientation day, and he was one of my first friends here at STU, one of my closest friends here at STU. And when he met me, he looked at me and he was like, I don't know. He said, I don't know why people don't like me. I'm so cool. He was like, he said, I was like, well, you're super buff. People are intimidated. I don't know. And then that day, we formed a connection, and I got to know him, and he was not, he was the most, the sweetest person, the nicest person. He is not intimidating at all. If you got to know him, he was the most approachable person you could ever meet. I don't know, he was like, I told him he reminds me of a little puppy, just running around, wagging his tail, meeting everybody, trying to talk to everybody, and I was like, no, don't do that. Wait until I'm not there. Because if you went anywhere with him, if you went downtown with him, 5 people, 6 people, 7 people would stop to say hi, to talk to him, because that's who he was. I feel like his life here was short, but like everybody said, is filled with, I don't know, a lot of blessings, a lot of light. He had a lot of life, and he did everything. His life was like full. He inspired all of us to be our best selves, to work on ourselves, to care for each other, to spread positivity and light to everybody. And I feel like that's what his takeaway was. That's the impact he's left on us, to not take life so seriously, to have fun, to be goofy and not really care if you look silly in the middle of a park dancing by yourself. He's just like not take himself too seriously and just enjoy life and do what you want to do while you're here. Take up your hobbies. I don't know. That's my takeaway from him.
Hello. For those who don't know me, my name is Carrie Monteith-Levesque. I'm the International Student Coordinator here at St. Thomas University, and I'm actually going to be reading some words of remembrance from Hannah John, who's currently in India. And Hannah has written a letter to Aranium, and it says, "Dear Aranium, you are irreplaceable. When I initially got word of your passing, I didn't want to believe it. Your energy, your spirit, your thirst for life is something that we can all learn from. There is truly no one like you. I got to know you through the dance choreography, which you would have seen a bit of in the video, that we put together. I had not even met you before that event, but the way in which you jumped right in and participated with so much energy, it made me realize that you're a person who would always jump in no matter how spontaneous the opportunity. I'm so thankful that I got to know someone like you. Your passion for life and your commitment to bettering yourself and those around you will never be forgotten. I cannot imagine what it'll be like to go into the gym or the many classes that we would have had together and not see you there. I know I will think of you and how much better it would have been if you had been there with me. You truly are a beacon of light. Your energy and zest will never be forgotten. I do believe, however, that you would have wanted us to live our best life with the same energy you brought to yours and ours. We can only hope as a community to learn from your life. Although short, the impact you've had on the people you have interacted with and on your friends is something that we can all only aspire to. So here's to you, Ari. Here's to your life. Thank you for teaching us to be resilient in the pursuit of our goals. Thank you for constantly encouraging us. Thank you for bringing light into our lives, even when we couldn't see that ahead were better days. We will miss you dearly, and we promise to always remember you and keep your memory alive for the rest of our days. And you will continue to live through us for the rest of our days. Our dearest, Ari."
Hi everyone. I just had some memories that I just wanted to share with you. Before he got here in 2017, I messaged him on Facebook because he had the coolest profile picture in our group of him standing with his horse. He was so worried about his visa not coming here, and for about 2 months I had to stop him and say, "Just calm down, the mailing system's gonna be slow, you're in a foreign country." And the day he got it, he celebrated, and he was like, "My first blue-eyed friend, I finally got my visa." It took him forever. He was so worried that he's not going to be able to come here. And everything about him, he could be just worried about a visa. When we got here, I was adamant about not going to the gym. I went for about a month. I quit. My gym started with 2 a.m. trips to McDonald's. Every day, I would just randomly just walk to McDonald's at 2 a.m. I would stand underneath his window. I was like, Arenium, you want to come with me? He's like, no, I am not going to McDonald's at 2 a.m. That is too much. And by the time I got to his door, he's standing outside, hurry up, let's go. This is the last time I'm doing it. He went with me for every day I was here. There's times I'll be just coming home from work and I'll just call him just to chat him up for a drive home because I'm exhausted. He just talks to me the whole drive home. I went just recently and got myself a cow. He thought I was joking. He's like, you're gonna get your twin. I was like, you just called me a cow. He's like, I did, but that's okay. That's just the kind person he was, and he got so excited when I told him I started walking with my work friends, and he's like, now you're finally going to have some exercise, and that was still exhausting. We had to plan a trip. We were gonna go to Nova Scotia, and if I planned anything, he was the first one to want to come with me. We were gonna go to India once he finally got his 2 years. This would have been his last 2 years before he became a Canadian citizen. I had a planned trip. We were gonna go to his hometown. We were gonna visit his family. Me and my mom, or his mom, were gonna go shopping for dresses because he knows I like the Indian culture, and I got to meet his family through video chat a few times because whenever he's come over, I just walk in. That's the kind of person he was. If I live in St. John, so just randomly I will drive to Fredericton to come visit him. The last 2 times I was here I went with Shannon. We went to Chrome. I didn't tell him I was here. I asked everybody. I was like, is Arenium Bora working today? Everyone looked at me, who's Arenium? I didn't know everyone changed his name to Ari, and I was like, Arenium. Like, oh, only one person knew his name was Arenium. They said he was downstairs. As soon as I did, he dropped everything just like with Millie, and he came and gave us a big hug. He's like, you came to visit me. And then the last time I was here was in December. I came up for my friend's birthday. We were supposed to go out instead, and we went to his house instead. He's like, I'm going to drink with you. I am not a drinker. I end up having wine that day, so I was kind of out of it. That's my weakness. And I remember coming to and stuff after we went to the cellar. He was feeding me my McDonald's on his couch. I kept coming to, and he's like, you finally ate all your McDonald's, because that's my go-to meal. But the day he passed away, I was supposed to go that morning to his house. I didn't go that morning. I went in the afternoon, just at 3:42 was his last message to me. He's like, bro, you should have told me you were there. And I would have came and visited you, and I didn't know he was gonna go, or I would have beat him because he's not supposed to be doing so much crazy stuff. But that's the way he was. He wouldn't have told me because I'm a nurse. I probably would have kicked his butt. So his memory's going to be everywhere because he was one way or another. He could be the rudest person. In 2 seconds, it's just like, hey, we're best friends again. He was everywhere, and his memories through everyone. You don't even have to meet him for 2 seconds. You know his whole life. Thanks.
Okay, so I'd like to begin by saying a big thank you to the people who organized this. It took us only 3 days to organize this entire function. So for all the people who worked on this, Ryan Sullivan, Carrie, Alexa Navas, Sedona Chandon for that amazing video, thank you so much for organizing this. I very much appreciate your efforts on the family's behalf. I'd like to say a big thank you to the family for letting me act as their representative, take care of all the formalities, the legalities, and for letting me keep his belongings safely, and also taking care of all formalities so that his belongings are safe. And right now, I can say that we're trying to do everything we can to take Arenium back to India. The last time that Arenium was in India was back in the year 2018. So it's been 2 years since he was back home, so we're trying to do everything we can to get him back home as fast as possible. So I'll start off with when I first met Aranyam. I met him in September 2017, and believe it or not, even though many of us today know him as this huge extrovert, fun-loving person, when he first came to STU, he was very much introverted. He was afraid to talk to people. I remember going to meal hall, and I'd see him sitting in a corner all by himself. I'm like, man, what are you doing here? Go and talk to these people. And he'd just say, no, I'm focused on the gym. I want to think about the gym. I'm like, bro, you got to talk to people. Like, you don't want to be alone. And he was very much an introvert, but slowly, as time went on, I watched him grow from a boy to a man. He had self-confidence, he believed in himself, and he believed that he could conquer anything he was up against. From September 2017 to September 2020, I watched him conquer bodybuilding. He was a bodybuilding champion. I watched him learn how to ride a bike. I watched him practice martial arts. He learned how to play guitar. He became an amazing bartender. And lastly, he was also an amazing painter. His painting ability was exquisite, and I was so shocked when I found out that he only began painting in May. And I said, man, can you leave some sunshine for the rest of us? Like, are you gonna do everything? Like, is there anything left for me? So how did he do all of this? Well, most importantly, he always believed in himself. He showed everyone what you can do with your life if you believe in yourself. Now, a lot of people might find this hard to believe, but most of us stay home until we're with our parents until we're at least 17, 18, or 19, at least. Aranyam left home when he was very young, I believe. I'm not sure what the exact age is, but very young, like in his early teens. He had to learn how to do everything from a very young age. And believe it or not, throughout his school years, he didn't have a lot of friends. He was often a target from vicious bullies who would simply attack him because they're jealous of everything he could do. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of the people who showed kindness to him. I'd like to say a big thank you to Simon Wasif, Shannon Gums, Wilson Kennedy Mills, so many people who showed kindness to him, because that is something he never experienced when he was younger, or experienced very little. I'd like to say a big thank you to the people who are not here, to Hanif Brown, Maria Paula, David Eno, David Effiong, Phil Schwentek, Adarsh Sharma, Kirti Barua, Ben Roy, Hojin, and so many others. I'd like to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being kind to him, because that is what he really wanted. Most of us will remember Aranyam as an inspirational bodybuilder, painter, and magician. Take that away, and he's still one of the best friends I've ever had, and I'll miss him very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those beautiful words. Please join us for a minute of silence and reflection. Thank you. As we depart, I invite you to sign the Book of Condolences, which is in the rear of the Great Hall. This book will accompany Iranium's belongings and returned to India for the family. We go now in peace with our collective prayers and wishes with Iranium as his body returns to India and his soul continues to its next destination. Thank you very much.